Wasabi Wallet. Unfairly private.
What's up, everyone? Ben with the BTC Sessions here, and this is your daily session.
Hodl the Bitcoin.
Before we dive in, of course, shout out to sponsors of the show, LEDN.io. This is where you can use your Bitcoin for a variety of different services. Of course, they've got their Bitcoin savings account where you can earn interest on your Bitcoin paid in Bitcoin. They've got their Bitcoin-backed loans where you can use Bitcoin as collateral to obtain a US or Canadian dollar loan. So if you're in a pinch and you need dollars, but you don't want to sell your Bitcoin, you think it might be a bad time, this could be an option for you. And if you're a huge Bitcoin bull, you can always check out their B2X offering where you can get exposure to essentially double the price of Bitcoin. And secondly, of course, and I should say, if you want to check this out, there's a link down below in the show notes. And if you opt to get a loan, they'll actually credit you with an additional $50 worth of Bitcoin to your account. Secondly, I've got Rhys Wallet. Happy to be partnering with them on the show, and this is exactly what it looks like. It is a gift card for Bitcoin. The way it works is you pick it up and the face value of the card is what the recipient will receive. Of course, there's an activation fee, but you can gift this to an individual, and it is super easy. It is the most idiot-proof method I think I've seen to onboard somebody to Bitcoin. All they have to do is download the app, they scratch the back of the card and scan the code, and it immediately creates them a brand new personally held Bitcoin wallet and sends a Bitcoin transaction for the face value of the card immediately to their wallet. So if you want to check them out, the website is rhyswallet.com, and there is a link in the description there. Of course, right now they are only in Canada, so you can click on locations to see if they're in a Canadian location near you. And if they're not, you can always go over to coincards.ca and pick one up there where they will be delivered to your house. And keep an eye out because they're looking at expanding elsewhere as well. And with that, let's dive into the news. So if you guys follow me on Twitter, you'll probably be privy to this news already, but there's been some developments over the past few days, and of course it's been Christmas and everything, so things have been busy. But anyways, I started to notice a couple days prior to Christmas and on Christmas Eve, YouTube started flagging things for myself and for others that were related to Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. And so what they were flagging them is they were saying that it was harmful and related to, I guess, regulated goods is kind of what they were going for. It was harmful content. And so, yeah, one of my videos from early 2017 got flagged and taken down, just fully removed from YouTube. So not like demonetized. I'm talking like nobody could watch it anymore. And it's still, at the current time, is still down and gone. And I have a warning on my account. And the way it works is if you get a video that is flagged for a violation of terms and services of YouTube, first you get a warning, and then you get three strikes against your channel. The first strike, you're not allowed to upload or do anything for a week, and then beyond that, it gets worse and worse for each strike. After the third strike and a warning on top of that, your channel is just deleted. So I was pretty worried about this, and there were plenty of other YouTubers that were getting hit as well. One of the big ones was Chris Dunn. He's got 200,000 subs. He's been doing his channel for 10 years, obviously, a little bit more than just cryptocurrency on there, but yeah, tons of his videos removed. Not good. Crypto Beatles. There's a huge list here of YouTubers that got their channels at least partially flagged or taken down. So Chris Dunn, Chico Crypto, Heidi, Chris Coney, Altcoin Daily, Bitcoin and Coffee, Experience Crypto, Node Investor, BitVR, Crypto Rich, Ivan on Tech, Rice Crypto, Box Mining, Martini Guy, Crypto Daily, just a ton of them that were all getting the same kind of thing that I was getting, notifications that your content is somehow harmful or dangerous content, and that it's somehow related to regulated goods, which I would assume would have to do with the fact that it's cryptocurrency related. Well, so I was very worried. Many people were very worried. A lot of people thought that Google was just cracking down and sweeping out anything related to cryptocurrency and Bitcoin, but they have since reversed that decision. They've said that it was actually a mistake. So you can see people like Box Mining saying that the strikes against the channel have been removed. YouTube called it an error in their algorithm and is back online, and another one back online here. So a representative from YouTube told Decrypt, this website here, I asked our teams to look into the channels, and all except Ivan on Tech should now have all videos reinstated. As mentioned before, these removals were made in error. The team is in the process of reinstating all videos that erroneously had videos affected by some root cause. Regarding the Ivan on Tech one, the video was removed because of a link in the video description that pointed to a website that violates our community guidelines. So I don't know exactly what that was, but anyways, most of everything has been reinstated. Again, Matty Greenspan chimed in here, and he's an analyst in the space. He said, I think that we've all learned some valuable lessons from this ordeal. I'll personally be using YouTube and all big tech a lot more cautiously from now on. Now, I should note, as I said before, that the video in question on my end that it was flagged and I got a warning for, it is still down. I still have that warning on my account, but I'm guessing it has to do with the fact that it's not a priority, I guess, for YouTube. They're probably just sifting through everything right now, but it sounds like they're gradually getting to it. Now, through this all, as I was kind of looking at it, I was like, oh my God, there's a lot of trust and reliance on a single platform here that can pull the rug out from any of you at really any point in time. And so on my end, what I'm looking to do is kind of branch out to a number of different platforms. But the thing is that you want people to actually be able to see your content. And so one of the things that I plan on doing in the new year is branching out and actually doing an audio only version as well. So basically the exact same show, but you'll be able to listen to it via podcast on Spotify and like Google Podcasts and Apple Podcasts, and wherever you can pick up your podcast, basically. And that way, if there's an individual platform like, say, Google Podcasts that deems that the content is not allowed, at least it's available on a variety of other easily accessible platforms from the get-go. So I'll be announcing more about that as I figure it out, but I'm in the process of doing that. Now, I had a lot of suggestions for supposedly decentralized, blockchain-based content providers, or rather content aggregators or content hosters, I suppose. So I saw a number of them. Now, there's a few things that I'm wondering about here, and namely, this is in regards to how the hell do you host all of that data in a decentralized way? And this has been a lot of the talk around Bitcoin and lots of other projects out there, and that's kind of what Bitcoin has been very good at, is minimizing the onus, or rather minimizing how difficult it is for somebody to host all of that data of all of those transactions. And with Bitcoin, it's just transactional data, right? It's just the state of the blockchain. And so Bitcoin is focused on having this base layer that's very, very compact, and you know, you can run it. I've got a couple different nodes behind me, and you can run it on like a small hard drive. You don't have to have a data center. But when you get into the realm of hosting stuff like on a YouTube type scale, it's expensive as hell to do that. And so how do you decentralize that? And I don't have an answer. I don't think it's an easy thing to do. And so I'm a tad skeptical when I see content platforms that claim to be censorship resistant, because I just don't see it. Maybe if they're in a jurisdiction that they're just not going to play by whatever rules are passed down, and that's all fine, well and good, and great. I think that's fantastic. But in the end, if they're in any sort of a jurisdiction doing a business in basically a Western country, and all of a sudden there's a regulation that calls for content like mine to be swept from the platform, there's zero recourse for that. And so if you have a supposedly decentralized platform that has any sort of discernible figurehead or foundation in any of those jurisdictions, they're hosting that data somewhere, and it is a pinch point. And so I don't know what the answer to this is. A lot of people were saying check out BitChute, check out Library, check out BitTube. There's a bunch of options, and I get it. And yes, I'm looking at putting some videos in some of those places. I played around with them before. It's very, very early on. But I am looking at it, but I think the reason that they don't feel the pinch of a lot of kind of content regulations on the internet is because the platforms themselves are too small to draw the eye of Sauron. Honestly, I think it's just that the platforms aren't big enough for anybody to be freaking out about it. And if they ever got to a point of getting to a YouTube size, then they would probably feel that pinch. Not to mention, if it's actually truly decentralized data storage, which I think in some of these cases it definitely is not. But if it was, how the hell do you get that many people to host that many files? And I know there's propositions of how to do it, but it's not easy and it's not cheap to do. And so, I'm all for somebody figuring it out, but I've not yet seen a solution that works well. We'll see how that goes. I'm hopeful, but I don't think it's there yet. So cross our fingers. Let's hope. But anyways, glad to see you guys. I'm still here, and to keep a lookout for the whole podcast thing, I'll let you know. Okay, so Craig Wright news. There's a final countdown happening. It's on its way. So this article is a little bit earlier on, the 23rd, but there's a reason for that. So the Tulip Trust, Craig Wright was in court a lot this year, and so a lot of the evidence that he brought forth in his in the lawsuit that was lodged against him by the Kleinman estate, he was saying, okay, well, I don't have access to the Bitcoin now, so I can't give any to the Kleinman estate. He was supposed to be handing over billions of dollars worth of Bitcoin to them. So one of the bits of evidence that he submitted, saying that he is entitled to the Bitcoin but doesn't have access to it yet, thus he couldn't pay the Kleinman estate, was this, which was an email that stated from this is from David Kleinman apparently. So it says, I, David Kleinman, have received 1,100,111 Bitcoin from Craig Wright, and all Bitcoin will be returned to Dr. Wright on January 1st, 2020. So that was submitted by Craig Wright's attorneys to the court as evidence that he did not have it yet. Well, the clock is ticking, and now it's coming up on January 1st. And so, a lot of Craig Wright apostles and Bitcoin SV fans are just waiting for that to happen, and so that he can, dump his Bitcoin on the market and crash Bitcoin and finally prove that he's Satoshi. And, well, surprise, surprise, it doesn't look like it's going to happen. So Bitcoin's purported creator says his fortune may remain locked. Who could have possibly seen this coming? So basically what he said is that he said he cannot be certain that information will in fact arrive. And he added that he hasn't said the private keys to those coins would become available or actually be used next month. Did he not, though? He submitted this email that said all Bitcoin will be returned to Dr. Wright on January 1st, 2020. He didn't say the private keys to those coins would become available, or actually, it sounds like he did say that, but I'll let you be the judge. Anyways, it basically looks like he's just going to push things off yet again, and he'll do a lot of hand waving to explain what's going on, and some people will believe him. I am not included in that category, but it's super hilarious to watch the circus continue. Anyways, let's move on to one last thing here. So there was a lot of bearish sentiment in the second half of the year. It was very, very bullish for the first half of 2019, but it's easy to forget that in the short-term swings of things, and it's easy to forget to zoom out and look at the bigger picture. But there's a few major records that were set by Bitcoin this year. Number one is transaction count. It was actually what was it? May 2019 was the busiest month ever for Bitcoin with almost 12 million transactions, whereas December 17th is in second place. So that was the peak of the bubble, and that was 11 million transactions. So we hit new all-time highs for transaction levels in May of this year. Second is US dollar transaction volume. So we hit a new all-time high for transaction volume, and this was a day in late July where, so that included a price spike above $4 billion, a transactional spike of $4 billion in a single day in late July. And that was a bunch of derivatives moving off of BitMEX, but still a stellar year as far as actual US dollar transactional volume on the Bitcoin network. And finally, the hash rate. And I would argue that this is one of the greatest indicators how strong Bitcoin is. And that is the amount of computing power backing and securing the network. And we hit all-time highs and continue to hit all-time highs kind of through most of the year. So notably, when was it first? It would have been back in, kind of like the fall was when we first surpassed 100 exahash per second, or 100 quintillion hashes per second securing the network. We, at that point, then proceeded to surpass a few points where we went over 110 exahash per second. So pretty impressive that the network continues to grow and grow. And all this in the face of the halving coming up in May. So the supply of Bitcoin that is minted every 10 minutes and rewarded to miners that are securing the networks themselves, that's going to be cut in half. And however, you're still seeing massive amounts of mining power pile into the system and continue securing the network. There's tends to be quite often a lot of FUD around the halving, about mining death spirals and the hash rate crashing because miners are capitulating and not able to afford what they're doing. I think it's going to amount to next to nothing once again. It didn't happen in 2016. It didn't happen in 2012, 13. But rather we saw it amount to a huge kind of rally, not immediately, but in the year to 18 months following, we saw those huge manias pop up because gradual scarcity. I think we could be in for some interesting times over the next couple of years here. But I'm very excited and very happy with how things have turned out for Bitcoin this year, and I very much look forward to 2020. Anyways, I'm going to wrap it up there, guys. Thank you very much for watching. Of course, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and share. Always hit share. Great to have more people watching and listening. And of course, if you want to help out the show in another way, you can hit up the sponsors I mentioned, LEDN and Rhys Wallet. There are links to those down below. And while you're down there, check out Wasabi Wallet. It is excellent to get some more privacy on your coins, and they allow you to do so. So check them out. And finally, if you really like what you saw, you can always drop me a Lightning Network tip at my tippin.me page. And with that, I am out. Have a wonderful evening, and I will see you tomorrow. Yes, I think I'm going to do some weekend shows in lieu of the holidays that I just took off. Anyways, I will see you tomorrow for your daily session.